What's up, y'all? It's your homeboy, and I got receipts. And this time around, it's on a much lighter topic. You know, I've been working on some pretty serious videos, and even right now, I'm editing one that's kind of stressful. So I just want to take a moment of my time to talk about my personal life and kind of like it makes me laugh because this came out of nowhere. It's so like non-serious, so I want to like poke at it and show you guys how ridiculous Twitter is. Now, as a lot of you know, I'm in a long distance relationship with the beautiful Mina, and we have a little tradition in which before bed I wake her up and I prepare my nighttime meal and she prepares her breakfast. Then we watch something on Netflix or something, and then I go to sleep and she starts her day. You gotta have little cute traditions if you're gonna be in an LDR. For those of you asking for tips for their own long distance relationships, I highly encourage traditions like that. And we go on FaceTime audio, so you know, if you're both on Wi-Fi, it's completely free to do. And if one of you has an Android, I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. Now you can use WhatsApp, and that also works just as well, as long as you're both on Wi-Fi. There's no extra charges. And when we pick a show or movie on Netflix, we go 1, 2, play. Anyways, back to the story. So last night I was making some tacos. You know, I like to eat tacos. That's kind of my tradition. I make bean tacos with avocado and some hot sauce, yummy, with some chocolate milk. And I'm on the phone with Mina, and we're talking about the very prevalent Corona, you know, locking everybody down. When all of a sudden, you know, I finished making my taco and I'm about to go upstairs to my room, and all of a sudden she says something that really threw me off.
Oh my god, Edwin, I've just been feeling so honey recently. I was feeling honey before, but ever since Corona hit, I've been feeling honeyer than ever.
So I said, hold on a second, I want to tweet that because it was so random, it was just out of nowhere. So I read her what I thought of tweeting, and I said, you think this is funny? Should I do it? And she's like, yeah, do it. I said, so I just finished making my delicious bean taco and I'm on the phone with my girlfriend having a casual conversation about you know what, when all of a sudden she tells me she's feeling really honey. Something has infected her, but it's not the corona. For the sake of not offending anyone, I'm gonna say honey instead of the actual H word. I tweeted that around 4 a.m. so it didn't really catch any traction, you know, not many people replied straight away, and I didn't think much of it. So after I had my meal and Mina and I finished watching the movie The Gift.
You think you're done with the past, but the past is not done with you.
Pretty good, pretty creepy, pretty intense. I went to bed, then I woke up, and boy, I did not expect to wake up to all these replies. Well, you do have a nice voice that can be very seductive when it wants to be. When it wants to be. Ooh, exposed? Go give her some vitamin D, winky face. It's actually looking like Mina's vitamin appointment is gonna have to be postponed because we had plans to meet up in April, and now, with all that's going on, that's the one bummer, the true bummer of this video. Sucks. Quarantine got all the ladies acting up this week. Oh, so it ain't just Mina. Haha, glove up. Hold up, just so it's clear, I wasn't saying that a transmitted disease infected Mina. I don't know, it's just a joke, and in my head I thought, I was like, hey, like a honey virus infected her, you know, but not the coronavirus. Maybe my joke didn't land, but at least that's the part that emphasizes that it's a joke, right? How many babies are gonna be born because of quarantine? And Frank says, there were baby boomers, now there will be corona babies. And that's when Kelsey slid in with her 3,000 liked tweet saying, 2033, quarantines. Clever, clever. It's happening to women all across the US. I've noticed a huge surge in honey tweets from ladies, and I'm a lady and can confirm. My boyfriend and I were watching Dragon Ball Z in a Discord call, and I said the same thing. She gets me. Well, not me. She gets Mina. She gets Mina, and no shame about it, you know? So, you know, it's nice to see that people get me. You know, people don't forget where my sense of humor lies, but there are quite a few people that actually, it surprised me how many people don't get me. Yep, I really didn't need to know this. What a weird thing to share. Def overshare. No respect, just filth. You're really announcing this to the world? Are you for real? Like, dude, come on. Posting this just screams insecurity and inexperience. Kinda embarrassed for you. So I said to this person, don't project your insecurities onto us. We're perfectly fine. Project my insecurities? Try again. I mean, yeah, what's me bringing up how Mina randomly said she was horny have anything to do with me being inexperienced with her? What? I mean, you ain't even got a picture on your own profile. I just love when people on Twitter think they're really onto something, right? But they can't even share their own face. They don't share anything about themselves online, so they feel so powerful being anonymous internet warriors. Why do you feel the need to broadcast the fact that your girlfriend's honey? Now, that wasn't the entire tweet, but it says a lot about you, how that's the only thing you read out of the entire thing. Because, look, it's a joke. It either landed or it didn't. It's not that deep though. Alright, let's move on to the next one. We get it, you have a girlfriend. That's not the point of the tweet, but okay. You're oversharing, bro. This person doesn't even follow me. Imagine going to someone's Twitter that you don't even care that much to follow and saying, hey, I don't like what you're sharing, man. I need my safe space, and you're tweeting something that doesn't doesn't go with it, okay? Like, is this what we're turning into? Come on, guys, come on. Then Kirsten later replied to her saying, seriously, as a girlfriend, I'd be pissed if this was put online. Not to mention the fact that this was tweet-worthy is just cringe. Again, this person does not follow me, so I don't even understand how they're finding my tweet, looking through the replies, and then like, you know what, I relate with this person. and just, what? Not only does this Kirsten gal not follow me, but she ain't my girlfriend. Obviously, like, she'd be pissed because I don't want you, girl. I got my own girlfriend and she happy with me. It's funny, man. Like, I just don't understand how people like on Twitter just go into other people's profiles and just like get angry about, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm in a different Twitter universe, but when I go on Twitter, I see people going all out, like with their, you know, being horny and stuff. And then I said the most tame joke. I thought it was pretty vanilla, my joke. And apparently everyone's got their panties in a bunch. And I did quote tweet that person later on because they had made that tweet much later on. But I just wanted to read it right away because they were the second person that is like getting worked up over someone that they don't even follow. So anyways, after processing this mixed bag of replies, I made another tweet and said, woke up to a bunch of replies to my tweet saying things like disrespectful and why are you sharing? Hey, my girlfriend, oof, I forgot to put that my in there. Hey, my girlfriend feeling extremely horny after we have been away from each other for months is valid and we can share what we want. Keep your insecurities to yourself. And honestly, I do think it's a little odd that people are so adamant, you know, so passionate about shaming such a normal human emotion. I mean, the tweet itself, I thought the tweet itself was pretty harmless, like a bad joke at worst, but it wasn't really that explicit. I didn't detail anything because literally that's all she said. We didn't do anything dirty on the FaceTime, so anybody thinking anything further, that's on you because we literally just ate, watched the movie, and I went to sleep. And if you've been following me for longer than a few years, you know that I'm serious when I say that expressing yourself and being open about sexuality shouldn't be a big deal. I mean, for one, also, my username on Twitter used to be Sexy Edwin. And the videos that I used to make before I did commentary were something else.
The first time that this girl asked me to choke her, I was like, okay. So I kind of choked her, and she was like, harder. I was like, wait, but when do I know, you know? So, yeah, it happened on that couch.
No, it did not.
And the reason why a lot of my older content was based on sexuality was because, you know, for me growing up, it was something that was shamed, you know? This is a weird story, but literally, one time when I was like 12 years old, I went to the priest and I confessed. It was my first and only ever confession, I think. But I confessed that I played with myself. You know, and it was just something that was always shamed in with me growing up. So as I grew older and was making YouTube videos, I kind of did them towards my younger self. You know, I wanted to express and normalize and make light out of things that were shamed or like not talked about, you know, stigmatized essentially, which is weird to say because now most people, I thought, shouldn't really care to be open and sex positive, you know? It's weird that I have to have this conversation because I thought that we were kind of over that. But, you know, so I moved on from that content and now I'm making content that once again, I wish my former self would have at points, you know, or that I could kind of give as advice to other people from what I've learned in my own life. But anyways, back to Twitter because the outrage did not end there. I did get some replies to my new tweet from homies that do get me. Fellow YouTuber Velonia says, why is it a crime for Mina to be horny? Why is it a crime for you to tweet about it? I'm pretty sure every single one of the people talking poopy has been horny in their lives. And if that's something they kept to themselves, then I think we know why they're mad. Ooh, clever. Then I obnoxiously replied, I would also put some good money that everyone replying has felt the honey sensation. Oops, TMI. Wouldn't be at all surprised if lots of people are feeling honeyer than usual. One thing that really gets the reproductive juices flowing is fear and a real perceived threat to life. This is true. I remember learning about this in psychology class. You know, that's why when you go see a horror movie, you know, you kind of hold hands and you're like, you cuddle together because it naturally makes you want to be with someone, and then before you know it, things escalate. But I thought it was funny because A, Mina is funny, and B, that's a fudging hilarious time to say that. Yes, and C, I'm shy, so I would never say it to anyone, so the whole scenario amuses me. People are annoying. At first I thought it was weird, but to be fair, you're both adults and it's pretty funny. Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I didn't think you'd post something like that without her permission. I found it pretty funny. Maybe some of your followers are a little young. That's the thing. My followers are not young. And I mean, I say this as a generalization, obviously, because even if you want to argue that YouTube's analytics are inaccurate and every single young person for some reason lies about their age when signing up for a YouTube account, I connect with my fans a lot. You know, I do a lot of live streams and I talk to them, message them, I tweet back and stuff, and I am aware that most of them are adults. Oh my god, this chick again. Your response doesn't even make any sense. It's not because of people's insecurities that they're calling you out. It's people's cringe meter going off. Sorry people don't want to think about you losing your virginity. Like, that one cracked me up. You think I'm a 30-year-old virgin? I don't know what to think about that. All I could think was say LOL. I mean, what? That's just funny, you know? Don't stop believing. That's what I mean, you know? It sounds like a lot of projection. I don't know this person, but hey, you know, you keep hiding behind your little internet. Like, that's the thing. I share so much about myself. Like, I literally... You could learn so much about me by just watching me on YouTube. Not to mention, what does me pointing out that Mina said she's honey on the phone have anything to do with me losing my virginity? See, that's what I mean. This person is doing the most by imagining me losing my virginity for some reason, even though I lost that many years ago. Like what? If somebody thought about that from my original tweet, you need to get yourself checked out, girl. You would think you posted pictures of her hoo-ha. Like, I wasn't super fond of the tweet, but whatever. I didn't tweet at you to tell you I disapprove. Like, I'm married, I have 4 kids, I don't care what a boyfriend/girlfriend talk about. And I said, amen, I totally respect that. Plenty of people I support tweet things I don't always agree with, or might even make me feel uncomfortable. And when that happens, I keep scrolling. Because it really isn't that hard to just keep on scrolling. Tell them to stay far away from gay Twitter then, LMAO. But that's the thing. I thought part of signing up for Twitter was that you're gonna be guaranteed to see something that you don't agree with, you know? I mean, seriously, you could be on the bus and somebody retweets something really grotesque or something really horny. In my example, I don't think it was that bad. But hey, crucify me. Then again, signing up for Twitter also includes strangers occasionally getting upset at you over minuscule things. Keep your private lives to yourselves. Just TMI, it has nothing to do with insecurities. Some of us don't need to know your life. Excuse me? Yo, I swear, these people that don't show pictures of their own face on Twitter are really imaginative. I mean, from my tweet, you're imagining me and Mina doing things? All she said was she was being honey. It's a normal human emotion. I mean, look at your own profile picture. You got trees doing the dirty. Girl, cheese and rice. It was funny, but this is oversharing in private, I think, Edwin. I'm open, but don't know if it's a good thing with that much audience. It's funny for certain people, but what's the point? Holy run-on sentence, Batman. You should understand that people in your community are not your friends. Keep it private. Now, here's the thing about this tweet. I know I joked about the run-on sentence, but I don't mind the tweet. You know, I understand the sentiment. I think they're looking out. They're saying, yo, you know, of course you're gonna get criticism. You know, some people don't want to hear about your private life. But at the same time, it's like, I've been sharing about my private life on Twitter for years. I don't really agree with the expectation of having to cater to strangers when they don't like what I'm saying. Because I didn't get to where I am by catering to strangers. You know, I got to where I am by being passionate and loving what I do. Like, really grinding hard and working hard. And that's not to say that I'm even anywhere far. Like when people say with my audience, like it's still weird to me. I mean, I guess my audience has grown and I'm really grateful. And I do think it's a valid criticism because, you know, they have a point. My followers are not my friends. At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people that follow my channel are probably willing to turn on me if they don't like something I say, and here's a valid example, you know? And it's kind of a bummer, but it's a large reason why I have been tweeting a lot less than I used to. You know, if you've been following me for a while, you probably noticed that, especially personal tweets, because to an extent, it almost feels like I'm setting myself up to just be scrutinized, and what's the fun in that? It really isn't. Like, sometimes I'll have fun. Like this is kind of like silly, ridiculous. I'm like, really, y'all? But then it gets to a point where some people become obsessed, dare I say? And I'll show an example. But for this kind of situation, it's not that big of a deal. But other times, like for my Edwin and Mina vlogs, I began feeling overwhelmed from having to put together a bunch of clips into a vlog and make it entertaining, you know, because sometimes we didn't vlog in a sequential manner. So I had to kind of make it work, you know? And on top of that, having the comments kind of scrutinize and judge our relationship was just unnecessary, because you got to remember, I'm also working on the Edwin's Generation videos that are a lot more stressful as well, and like I invest a lot of time and a lot of myself into. So overall, I just was like, I can't. And I told Mina if she wants to keep it going, she can, and she's been getting very good at editing. So you guys can expect a new vlog on the Edwin and Mina channel.
So before this video starts, I thought I could give you guys a little look at my journey tu può averta.
So that takes a little weight off of me because obviously I also don't want the Edwin and Mina channel to die. But yeah, I've always been a very open and expressive person, you know. This is what I like to do with live streams and connect with my audiences, you know. I love communicating. Alright, let's keep the train moving here. Someone says, discuss that oversharing is not an insecurity, LMAO. Are you sure? Because all I said was that Mina was honey. And if that's disgusting to you, then you definitely sound a little insecure, honey. Check yourself. So like I said, eventually I quote tweeted that one person that doesn't even follow me and said that they'd be pissed if they were my girlfriend, and I tweeted what I tweeted because my tweet was very cringeworthy. Mina is comfortable sharing normal feelings, and I thought it was hilarious that she said it so randomly after I made my taco. It ain't as cringe as y'all's reactions, lol. I mean seriously, at this point, everyone going, ill, that's getting kind of like, ill at you, girl. Go in your corner and keep cringing at Hani. Love people totally speaking on Mina's behalf here as if she isn't comfortable at all. To be honest, I'd be more pissed off with someone taking offense on my behalf instead of respecting the dynamic of their relationship. Amen, sis. Oh, and this person's back again, which by the way, they don't even follow me, so some people literally just come to my profile to be salty. They said, I love how hard you cry when people have a different view. You seem so incapable of accepting that to some people something is X and to others it is Y. Oof, try hard much? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I having trouble accepting that you're Y and I'm X for calling you a tryhard? What, bro? What? I just told this person, and I love how seriously you take my tweets because it's actually comedic to me, you know? Because I get what the little anime icon is trying to say, you know? They're trying to say that, oh, I have a problem with someone having a different perspective than me. And you know what? I'm not perfect. You could probably argue that there's been times in one of my videos or maybe a live stream or something I said in which I give off that vibe. However, in this one, in this tweet, really? Homie, Nah, girl, sit your ass down, what the fuck? None of these tweets represent me being incapable of accepting that to some people, something is X, and to others, it is Y. God, that sounds so pretentious and just bleh. If you want to say I made a bad joke, just say I made a bad joke. But to unironically complain to me as I'm telling people that I will tweet what I want, just makes you look like a dumb idiot. Ooh, that feels good. Take that X and shove it up your Y. This girl says, bro, please just stop honey posting about your girlfriend. That's not why we're following you. To which I said, bro, please stop whining about my tweets and just keep scrolling. You don't even follow me, LMAO. And by the way, someone not replied the girl that I quote tweeted saying, must suck to have no sense of humor. And she said, ha ha ha, OMG, you're right, I'll lighten up. And I can't tell if she's being sarcastic, but she stopped tweeting. She's cool in my book. Jeez. Okay, now last but not least, the person that seemingly got a little bit obsessed as they were tweeting to me and to my followers and about me all day long. It was a little weird. So I'm just gonna read a few, some that stand out. This one says, This is why the anti-Onisions are effing up the movement. One opinion different from one of their leaders / truthers and F all else. And, you know, they got Keemstar and Shadow Tag. But what? What is that? What does my tweet have to do? Then she started arguing with a lot of my followers, saying stuff like, unless you're a 27-year-old dating / objectifying a 20-year-old whose frontal lobes are not yet developed enough to protect themselves, then it's questionable. People kept correcting her about the ages too. Someone said, Mina is 23, and then the woman says, holy crap, she's 22? Can she not read? Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Then she goes, okay, let's shame the 27-year-old man for objectifying his 20-year-old girlfriend. And once again, she's reminded about how Mina is 23, and she goes, she's 21 and he's 31. Dang, our age just keeps sliding, huh? She also made this tweet to Keemstar saying, so are we not gonna talk about how Edwin and his girlfriend's age difference is not that different than that of Onisions and Kai's? This is all because of my original tweet, y'all. You can't make this up. After over 20 tweets, 2 are about me, I gave in and I was like, you know what? Let's see what she's all about. So I tweeted her. I said, I'm 30 and Mina's 23. It's an easy Google search, but seriously, what are you doing? Did my original tweet upset you so much that you want to cancel me by comparing me to Onision? Like seriously, what is your goal here? You've been replying with this narrative all day. To which she said, I mean if the shoe fits. So you are trying to cancel me because you think I am like Onision. She replied again to the same tweet saying, if you're being canceled, that you're doing. I'm just floored that someone that's gone so hard D after Onision is really not that different. ... And I'm just floored at how stupid you are. And she once again tweeted at Keemstar, why are we ignoring Edwin being no different than Onision? Why won't anyone point out Edwin exploits his girlfriend who is 10 years his junior? Wow, Mina just keeps getting younger and younger. Are you guys seeing this pattern of people that disagree with me? You know, some a little bit nastier than others. They always seem to play out these scenarios that aren't real. You know, no, they like find excuses to amplify a wrongdoing that never was, you know? Oh, Edwin said honey. And then, oh, Edwin objectifies and exploits. Oh, Edwin, I don't want to picture him losing his virginity. I only tweeted at this woman one single time, and that was the tweet that I read to you guys. And she tweeted over 50 times easily, you know? And that was just in one day. So why did I make this video? Well, I started it 2 nights ago, and you know, I got a lot of it done, but then I got tired. And usually when I do videos that take longer than a day, I'll wear the same shirt or clothes, you know, for continuity purposes, but let's forget about that. The reason why I did this video, well, I mean, for multiple reasons. One of them is so you guys can get to know me. You know, I made this channel so I can be more personable because, as I said in the first video on this channel, I felt like my Edwin's Generation channel just became more, I don't know, I guess professional. People started putting me on this pedestal and seeing this really high standard of me. And like, at first, it was a bit overwhelming. I didn't know how to handle it, but like I wanted to keep my standard of work, you know, like I was happy that my people were seeing my work improve. But at the same time, I also felt like I couldn't express a certain side of me all of a sudden. So I was like, all right, let's just do this channel, you know. So I want to remind you guys of who I am, you know. So I think it's important to do these kinds of videos. And, you know, I know it's easy to say, Edwin, don't worry about those haters on Twitter. Yeah, but like, I want you guys to see how I handle it, you know. And I also don't want you guys to think that I shut down, you know, because some people were perceiving me as shutting down those who disagree with me. And those who follow me closely know that that's not the case. I mean, I do live streams in which I talk to people with opposing views. And the day after all that went on, I tweeted, oops, there I go, oversharing on my own Twitter again. And I posted some risque photos of me and Mina. And someone replied, my issue with this, my only issue is that this is not what I followed you for. And I feel I'm being forced to read/see tweets I'm uncomfortable with. And it's not like this is normal posting, so it wasn't clear before I followed. I consented to YouTube drama that you report on, not this. And I responded, I assume the post made you unfollow, and that is totally valid. If anything, I appreciate tweeting your issue in a respectful way. I am happy designating my Edwin's Generation channel to that content, but also want my Twitter to remain personal for my thoughts and personality. Thanks for the support. Do you see how easy it can be to respectfully express distaste for something? It doesn't all have to be intense, you know, and coming for someone's neck. Although it is a bit curious that they find my tweets uncomfortable when their pinned tweet is this. Hey, we're just having fun here, and we gotta be able to have fun. We gotta be able to poke fun at ourselves, you know, especially as someone who makes a lot of critical videos. I don't want you guys to be outraged all the time, you know. I want you guys to think critically, and that includes not jumping at people. I don't want to encourage that kind of behavior, and it feels like I don't know if like as the years progress, 2020 is becoming more like that, like ready to jump on people's neck. Or also, I kind of think that the quarantine might also be a factor, you know. I feel like that's also escalating everything because it's so stressful for everybody. Like, we're all going through stress. For example, we just posted a vlog on the Edwin and Mina channel, and if you watch it, it's quite clear that it's from our trip back in December when we went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Yet someone posted a comment and said, y'all should have been made to stay there since you're cool with ignoring the rules and endangering people. Who effing cares what you did in Mexico? Within the first 20 seconds, Mina says that we're not together, and then at the 2nd minute mark, she acknowledges that it's the same trip from December. So, you know, I was a little like peeved, and I said, I bet you felt real smart typing this, huh? Looking forward to seeing how you feel after actually watching. Anyways, stay safe. There's a little sass, but it's like, why is she like this? Then she responded saying, smart? Nah, I felt pretty horrified though. Then again, I'm taking care of a kid with lung cancer, so I don't expect you spring break selfish people to care about the risks you're putting others in. I guarantee you felt real smart though. And I responded saying, I was only suggesting that you watch the video so you could understand the context, being that this is not spring break footage, and realize that your judgment is misplaced. This is a stressful time on everyone, but there is absolutely no need for this hostility. I'm sorry to hear about your son and wish you the best. I really feel like this quarantine is making people react in quite intensive ways at the wrong things at times. So if there's one thing that you guys can take away from this video is to take a step back when you see something that makes you feel some sort of outrage inside of you. You know, when you see something online, just take a step back. You know, maybe you saw a tweet or maybe that comment that you want to be like, whoa, I want to go find it and hunt it. No, do not. Please do not. You know, like I blocked out some of the names just in case, because I don't condone that. You know, I feel like, yo, this is supposed to be an escape, not a place to put your outrage somewhere else, you know? Like, yes, we're all under a lot of stress, like, trust me. And it's not a competition, like, I get it. We all have our own reasons. Let's just try to use YouTube and other things to have our little escapes, you know? Because, damn. Just damn. If you got this far into the video, give it a thumbs up and let's see. Let's talk about the videos that I want to make, right? The Aaron Carter. I feel like the Aaron Carter video is going to become like a meme where I never end up making it. I just mentioned it. I'm also doing one right now that I'm going to upload soon, the Encina interview. I kind of want to do one on Joe Biden because he's kind of creepy. So what I covered in this video happened about 2 weeks ago. And as you can see, you know, my attitude is pretty laid back because people are freaking out over nothing. But people kept doing this to me over other tweets or things that happened in some of my live streams, and it just became too much. So I actually took a Twitter break. Obviously, that's not covered in this video. I hope I don't have to freaking make a video about that stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys are staying safe. All right, peace out.